So now as we kind of turn the page to looking ahead at some of those NFL win totals that have been updated, not much change other than some juice one direction or another after
really
the draft,
shouldn't,
there's not really much going into it. But there are still teams that maybe did a little bit more to add to their depth that might make you a little bit more intrigued in investing in them versus not. So is there a team that you do like that you think is on the up and up?
Well, I will say this, and I'm going to throw you for a curveball because you asked me for these teams, and I just remember something as well. I will say that as somebody who expected that the Panthers were going to draft Bryce Young, over 3-1 on them to win that division, I'm in. I like Carolina a lot. I think Bryce Young is going to be very good. I think that Carolina is a team, and it's more about the division itself, right? I don't think the division's very good. Carolina's a pretty freaking talented team if you look at some of the pieces they have defensively, offensively, and if Bryce Young plans out with that staff, I'm really high on Carolina to win that division. Again, you're talking like $350 to win that thing. I think that's a little mispriced. I think all of these teams are on pretty even footing with one another, and that would include the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But as far as win totals are concerned, I mean, I think we go to the obvious. One of the teams that I threw out there, Stormy, I do think the Titans are a low-key candidate to be one of the worst records in the NFL. And if that's true, if I'm right along that path of thinking, then obviously under 7.5 is something to really look at for the Tennessee Titans. And I even think as we get closer to the season, one of the things that I had some fun with last year was betting some alt win totals as well, either over or under. And I think that's something to really look at too with Tennessee. An alternate win total of like under 6.5 at a plus price that's going to be thrown out there, I think is totally worth it. I definitely think the Titans have the makings of a team that like 5-6 games in, we're going to be like, all right, let's see what we got on this roster.
When they do have the prop out for worst record, is that one you might put a flyer in?
Yeah, unless it's like, 6-1 or 4-1, right? Unless they're a favorite, because then I'm like, all right. But they shouldn't be, right? Given the fact that their win total is at 7.5 and that they're the second choice to win the division, you should be getting a pretty decent price on them to actually do it. So
I know a team you actually do like, though, is one that Michael Lombardi liked their season win total over 7.5 as well. Sell me on it.
Which one?
The Patriots. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I was like, which one? Yes. I love the New England Patriots. I should have the Lombardi line. No, the Lombardi should have
said the word. I don't know why. I said it in my brain.
Yeah. Well, Patriots, Lombardi. It's all together. Look, I don't understand. This is what I don't get. I don't know why we, like the collective, are out on Mac Jones after what happened last year when we all collectively make jokes about the offensive coaching staff that was around Mac Jones all season.
I think it's more because there have been not like rumors, but of the dissension between Mac Jones and Bill. And
so I understand that, but it's like this. Stormy, I'm going to have you do a radio show, but I'm going to take away your microphone. I'm going to take away your laptop. And you have to like scream into a mic that's on the other side of the room, right? We're going to do everything possible to make it
your job hard.
To make your job hard. And then it's like doing that and everybody going, man, Stormy's really bad at doing shows. And it's like, no, she's given every opportunity to fail. And now she has the audacity to ask for a laptop and a microphone to give her job. Like, no. And so like kind of building on that, when you go back to his rookie year and you're talking about a guy who had a PFF passing grade of 78.5 as a rookie, somebody who had 26 big time throws, a turnover worthy play rate of just about 2.5%, taking care of the football in a real offensive system, I think that this team has a lot of positive indicators that they could be very good this year. On top of which, Stormy, remember, and I keep bringing this up, and I know I brought this up with you before, this was the second best defense by EPA standards last season. So if that defense even just maintains an above average pace while this offense gets better, I think the market is really sleeping on how good the New England Patriots can be this season. They added Christian Gonzalez, to your point about, okay, coming out of the draft, what do you like? Well, you desperately needed a corner, and you get one. And the guy that you wanted, I think the New England Patriots are going to be much more similar to the team that won 10 games in Mac Jones' rookie year. Remember, during that season, they went on that stretch of like 7 weeks where they covered 6 out of 7 games. I think this is going to be a really good team. And that's why, kind of going back to what we're talking about with the New York Jets, why I think the market is maybe over-evaluating what the success is going to be like. I think this might be one of the biggest flies in the ointment, that this Patriots team is going to be a lot better than people really think they are.
Yeah, and still had 8 wins last season,
right.
And even despite all of that, and they should be better, to your point. I also interested in the plus 240 to make the playoffs there. The only thing that I think is a little bit tough is they do have to play the AFC West and NFC East, which, are... It's
a tough schedule.
Yeah.
Right. There's going to be there's going to be a lot of coin flip spots on that schedule. But I think that's kind of what you're looking at in the AFC East. Like, I do think that the teams in the AFC East as a whole are a lot closer together, right, than the market would really indicate too, right?
And the Bills could potentially take a step back. We're not necessarily sure what the Dolphins are going to be yet. But yeah, it makes a lot of sense. One team I was looking at, and tell me what you think, is the Ravens over 9.5. They had 10 last year, despite the injury to Lamar Jackson kind of derailing their season. They finally don't have to deal with any more offseason drama with their quarterback. They signed Lamar Jackson to the long-term deal. You sign OBJ for him, had a really good draft. I did like the Zay Flowers selection there. Oh, by the way, J.K. Dobbins is going to be back at full health. Stability with John Harbaugh, who has a track record of at least 8 win seasons. So just need a little bit more help to get over the hump to get double digits. But they're a team that I think is very reasonable to have success and to get 10 plus wins.
Yeah, I don't disagree at all. It's actually, before the season started last year, the Ravens, I had a bet on them to win the AFC North. I thought that they were a little undervalued by the market, and the Bengals came out. We know what the Bengals are, but to your overall point, the fact that Lamar Jackson is going to be back, you would assume better health, like you're saying as well. I do think that this is a team, and also kind of what we're talking about with the AFC East. The AFC North looks like a bunch of teams that are, again, just kind of really shrunk in together. And you're going to have a bunch of these games where it's going to be 3-point spreads that could go either way, depending on who's playing at home. And you could come out of this, you could have some good teams come out of this division, but the winner could be 9-8 or 10 and what are we doing? 10-7.
So this is why this is kind of a correlated play here. I like the Ravens to go over 9.5, and I'm very tempted by the Bengals under 11.5 because I think that other teams in the division are going to be so much better. I think that the Ravens are going to improve. I think that the Steelers are going to be better. They addressed a lot of the needs that they had in the draft. Kenny Pickett in year 2 should be better. The Browns, who the Bengals split with last year, should take a step forward with Deshaun Watson. So I think this is a more up for grabs situation. And just in terms of general wins, I feel like they had to have a lot of things go right for the Bengals last year to have the success that they did. And this is one of the highest win totals on the entire board. They're tied with the Chiefs and 49ers for the highest number.
And look, and because you're a first place team, you get a first place schedule. Yeah. Look at some of these opponents for Cincinnati. You have to go to Kansas City. You get the Buffalo Bills. You got to go to San Francisco. You got to go to Jacksonville. Those are some really tough opponents to play. I won't include a road game against the Tennessee Titans because, of course, that might be the worst team. But you get Seattle, who's going to be, I think, a pretty toff opponent. Anthony Richardson and the Colts are coming to Cincinnati at some point. So, watch out for that.
But, I get that you don't like to bet against Joe Burrow, or as my former co-host Matt Brown would say, Jesus H. Burrow. But, I just keep looking at last year and what they did to get as many wins as they did, had the benefit of beating up on an NFC South that was even worse than they are going into this year. That Monday Night Football game that they had against the Bills, we all know what happened there with DeMar Hamlin, so that game gets canceled. And it's just, I think they had to have a lot of things go right to get to the win total that they did. That's all I'm saying.
No, I agree with you. And I think, too, in this division, the one thing that is, to go back to New England Patriots, how I called them the fly in the ointment, I think the biggest mystery is what Deshaun Watson is and what that Cleveland Browns team is going to be. So. Right? Because defensively, they have a lot of really good pieces, and if Watson comes out and looks like the same Watson, that he was before everything, that is a team that football-wise could be a very big problem for everybody in that division.
Anybody else you like or don't like? Any team that you want to fade?
So I think we should go to Detroit really quickly. I'm not sure. I don't know. I guess I don't know if I'm allowed to. I'll use the Lombardi line. I don't know if I'm allowed to say bad things about Dan Campbell and the Lions. I'm not sure if I'm in on the Detroit Lions as the market seems to be, or as many really seem to be. I don't really love the not much addressing of the defense that was one of the worst in the NFL last season. I don't know if I don't want to say they're not well coached, but game scenario wise, when you're talking about adding wins at the margins, how much do they actually have at the top? I'm just really curious in terms of now that they're finally here, and everybody loved them offensively a season ago, but now you're getting priced as a playoff team and a division winner. I think I kind of want to go against that.
And that win total set at 9.5, juiced anywhere from -125 to -150 I've seen out there to the over. So food for thought. Good stuff.
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.